This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year to all of you. Nice to see all of you back here this morning. We're going to start off this morning with Bill Powell coming up, and he's going to talk a little bit about the reserve study, and then we'll go from there. Thank you.
Good morning. And in this forum and other forums, I've been asked quite a few times about where we are on reserve study and percent funded and all that kind of thing. My answer has been we don't have the new study yet. The new study came in during the holidays. So I'm going to give you a brief update on what the report said, and then I'll tell you a couple facts about it. One, the percent funded on the new study is 47.8%, which is up from the 40.2 that it was last year. So we have made considerable progress in bringing the fund back. The fully funded balance that's on the current report is $8,756,000 and change, and that's down from the previous year, which was $9,139,000 and change. There's a couple of reasons why it has dropped. One is we have several major high dollar items that have long periods of time, so we don't need to fund them as well. So the roads and roofs particularly have dropped what we need to have right away. We also have changed the low limit from $1,000 to $5,000, so that took a number of items off of it. So basically we're at 47.8%. The report recommends monthly contributions for this coming year of $110,000 per month. This year we're funding it at $100,500. So we're very close to that. We don't know what next year will be because it's a percentage indexes off of the assessment. So we do it. We're never going to be completely in agreement with what the recommended number is, and that's because this is a national recommendation algorithm, and it presumes we can do whatever we want with funding. We have an indexing one that indexes, so we have limits to what we can do. So, anyways, we're going to be very close to what the recommended is within shouting distance, so we feel good about that. The study is going to be posted on Neighbor Network. If it isn't already, it will be shortly. So you can go over there and look at it. There will be two postings. One is the executive summary, and one is the complete study. I recommend you look at the executive study first, It's like a page and a half. It's got most of the information you want to see on it. And it's pretty specific to Happy Trails. All the numbers are, some of the text is generic. If you want more in-depth, then you go to the full report, all 370 some pages of it. And there's a lot there. There's some more text and all that. And we're going to talk about that in just a second here. So I suggest you go look at the executive first, then look at the full study if you choose more. Now, before you go to the full study, or either one for that matter, I want to give you a couple of things to remember and think about before you draw some very clear conclusions. And that is, the text in the report is a very generic text. It's not written specifically for Happy Trails. It's a generic one. The representative we work with plugs in some numbers. The numbers are correct. He plugs in Happy Trails numbers, occasionally puts a Happy Trails sentence in there, but essentially it's a generic one. So there might be some things that are, and it doesn't, and there's some educational things there where it tells you a little bit about funds and how they work. So anyways, be careful how you read the text and know what you're reading. The graphs, if you go to the full text, there's several graphs in there. The graphs have generic assumptions in them. They are not specific to Happy Trails. So, for instance, you have, it's built on a 1% interest rate. We're getting better than 1%. So our contribution for interest will be higher, which will change that graph line. It also, like I said, the graph assumes we can charge anything we want to build the fund back up. It does not have indexing. So the lines are not exactly correct. We run between the two lines that they show. One of the lines shows no change at all. In fact, it look like the fund is going to be dead here in a few years. That's if we don't make any changes. Many HOAs don't make a change. Oh, we don't want to raise it this year. No, we don't want to raise it next year or the year after. And pretty soon they're in the hole. This one has a line for that that shows that's there. If you look at any of the spending projections, the spending projections are based on the replacement schedule that's there. Well, it does not take into case that we run to the end of useful life. I often say run to failure, end of useful life. So it makes the assumption that we're going to do everything exactly on that schedule. We know that's not correct. So be careful on looking at projections of where we're going to be out very far, because that's going to be affected by a maintenance schedule or a replacement schedule that we may or may not be following. Also remember the report is a one-day line in the sand. July 1st, 2024. That was the cutoff date. Anything that we've done since then, any projects we've done, still show as needed to be done. We do not go back and redo the report as we do things. It's a once a year thing, July 1. So you'll see things in there and say, we already did that. How come it's still listed as 0? Because it's a one-time thing. So, and then we also know there's a few errors. For instance, we noticed it did not pick up the new flooring in NC2. It did not pick up the repairing and replacing the shed at the sawmill. I'm sure there's other ones that I had. Those are two that just caught my eye really quick. We have a mechanism to pick those up, those errors, and in the next report or two, we will be getting those caught up. So we have a way to check on those. And most of it occurs when we get the on-site visit. We actually walk along the floor and say, oh, look at there, that's a new floor. We must have made mistakes. We'll catch them up. There's no, again, when you're talking about $9 million, it's not a big deal to do mess the flooring on it. What happens is they work off bills and things like that. For instance, sawmill. The sawmill was only $3,500 worth of work on a $10,000 shed, because the sawmill members did all the work. So it didn't show as pickups. We find those as we go along and straighten them out. So if you see line items, a couple of them, you say, well, we already did that. Well, either it's a timing issue or it's a mistake we're going to pick up. So anyways, that's what we've got. If we followed their funding rule exactly, if we followed their the expense line exactly, the fund would be 70% funded in 2032. So that's good timing. I think we're going to beat that because we're done with a lot of heavy-duty things. And if you look way out as you go along the next 5 or 6 years, we're probably not going to spend at the level it actually shows. So I think I think we're gonna beat that. So we're on our track to, by 2030, 2032, somewhere in there, be at 70%, which is really a good number to be at. I think we're gonna have some real serious talks where we want to go above 70%. So hopefully we can see some cutback along here. So anyways, that's what we have for the reserve fund. It should be available on May Network shortly. Today.
Thank you, Bill.
Hello, hello. I am Bradley Gonzalez, Operations Manager. We have some new faces up here, so I just want to introduce. We have our new DRC Administrator, Deanna Evans. We're excited to have her. She's done great so far. I think 2 weeks you've been here already? 2 weeks, on the third week. So we're excited to have her, and we wanted to introduce you.
Hi, glad to be here. I'm looking forward to meeting you all. And just bear with me, I'm learning, and I'm looking forward to working with you guys. Thanks.
I like to put her on the spot like that. She's done great. She's fitting in amazingly, so we're super excited to have her. And of course, you guys know Stephanie.
Hi, guys.
And our Office Administrator, Jennifer Easton.
Okay, before I speak, I'd like to turn it over to Donna, so you can just give us an update of things that are going on in activities.
Hi everyone, my name is Delma Blue and I am the activities coordinator here at Happy Trails. And we just have a few things going on. Tomorrow we have our Vendors Day that's going to be happening from 9 to 1 here in the PAC and the surrounding areas. On Wednesday night, we have Reba Tribute by Corey Sachs concert coming in. It'll be our first concert of this new year, 2025. And then we have the annual club officers meeting. That will be held January the 10th, 10 a.m. here in the Performing Arts Center. And so what we would like is the officers of the clubs, whoever chooses to attend, come and attend. We'll have updates and everything, and then we'll be able to answer questions, things like that. And then we have a free coffee and donuts happening on January 13th at NC1. So those are the things we have happening over the next week or so. So I'll turn it back over to Marlene.
Thank you. I just want to give you an update on our compliance officer. She has been out for some time, but she is scheduled to come back part-time beginning next week. In her absence, we have had someone from HomeCo that they do compliance for HomeCo at different locations come out and help us with compliance. We've had a few bumps in the road with that, but we are trying to work through that. Again, Sharon will be back next week part-time, so that hopefully we'll get all that back in order. At this time, I want to hand it over to Brad to give you an update on some of the operations that are going on, and then I'll take it back.
We're kind of in a whole moment after all the holidays, of course, getting a lot of the bids and stuff together. Work in progress. As you guys can see, the water feature in Town Center is still not up and working. We're working with BGN and Landscape to get an idea of what we want to do with that, whether it be a new type of feature or stick with the water feature. So we do have bids and numbers on those items. We're also working on some summer projects, getting that front started, finishing up with some of the roofing here in Town Center over some of the clubhouses and the other rooms, I think NC2, and then the Villa pool remodeling as well. So those are a few things that we are working on. You've also noticed some new directional signs that have gone up. As you come in through the guardhouse, you'll notice that it kind of leads you the way where MC1 is, or Cascades, Town Center, Chuck Wagon. And then I'm also working on a new heap of signs, which you'll see go up, periodically as we continue through the season.
So the new signs, we know that some of them are on the smaller side, so we are also looking at making those a little bit bigger so they're easier to see. Especially the one that just says NC1 with an arrow, it's kind of hard to see that one. But we are working on getting those bigger fonts and bigger size so it'll be easier to read. I'd like to talk a little bit about front steps and maneuver/neighbor. As you have heard in the past, we are trying to move away from neighbor, and going into front steps. We are in that process now of loading everything up into the new front steps program. And we are hoping to get that up and out to the membership by mid to later this month. Once that is done, we'll have a few months with both sites working before we have to turn off the neighbor. Front steps is a lot more user-friendly. I think it'll be a lot, we'll have some training on that, but you'll be a lot happier with that than with the neighbor. I personally have problems with it myself, so I know you all think.
And just to piggyback on that, we are meeting with Front Steps on the 13th. The site is pretty much built. We just want to go over some minor changes. We're also, we've been well in the process of getting everything over from neighbor to Front Steps, which is a tedious amount of work. There's a lot of paperwork, documents that need to get transferred over, making sure we have the right ones, the up-to-date ones. So a lot of stuff I won't bore you with too much, but we're very close to the site. Like I said, we have a meeting on the 13th to kind of pick up all of these things.
So let's talk a little bit about election day. We are working on getting that so we can have that for our elections coming up in February. There are some training sessions coming up next month. I'm sorry, this month, it's January. There'll be 2 additional training sessions that will be put on by Sue Dillon, she'll be putting those training sessions out. Along with that, I need to make sure that we have your correct information in our system. And we've been putting out notices asking, making sure that we have your correct email address. If we have more than one email on file, we need to know which one is the primary email, so we can make sure that you get the information you need. Steph, how's that coming along?
So we're kind of at a standstill and haven't received many in the past couple weeks. But if you do know that you have a couple different emails with us, please come to the front office and we can get that squared away. Other than that, you can fill out the form online on Neighbor.
And we also understand that some of you do not have an email account, and we understand that. So with those, of course, we would get you a paper ballot. Also, if you request a paper ballot, whether you have an email or not, we need to know the deadline is January 27th. And that would go to Jennifer.
So you can either stop by the front office. I have a form that you can fill out to request your paper ballot. And on that form, we just ask that we have a good mailing address for you, because some of you would have given me mailing addresses that are off-site, a good phone number, and a good email address if you have one, just in case we need to contact you for any reason. You can also email me at jeasmith, eastman@htrefer.com, and just let me know that you're requesting a paper ballot. Again, I need your lot number and a good address for you to where that mailing ballot needs to go. And that's it.
And all that contact information for Jennifer is on Neighbor Network, so if you can catch it, you can email her and contact her over Neighbor.
And I just wanted to clear something up. I know there's scuttlebutt going around that saying that you cannot get a paper ballot unless, if you have an email address, that is not correct. By law, if you request a paper ballot, whether you have an email or not, we have to give that to you. Okay? So you've heard that from me. We're going to go ahead and open it up to any questions you all might have, and we'll go from there.
The podium's right over here in the corner.
Hi, good morning, happy New Year. I'm Lily Atkinson, lot 1716. It's just 2 little things I think I have to say. First one is, they were blowing with the blower. It used to be when they see you, they stop. Now they're just blowing all over the place. Where is that going? It's not like they're blowing the weeds and picking it up. It's blowing the telecom all through their area here. I don't want the debris in my lawn. You know, so maybe when they come in, they could do it early in the morning. That's really like one issue. Can't remember the other one.
We could definitely get with landscaping and work on the mowing times and hours, absolutely.
Oh, I know. My blog, it says trails balls, not trail balls. Which trail?
It's got an extra S on it?
Yeah, it says Trail
Okay,
Falls.
I'll add it to my list.
Linda Johnson, 2161. The signs, directional signs are great. They should be reflective. When you're making new ones, make them reflective, for the night. Much safer.
Absolutely, that with the bigger font is two things we've noticed, so absolutely.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Bert Palmer, 831. I got a question on the pool temps. I know over the summer and whatnot, on social media about the pool temps. Just wondering what the normal temp is for your pools and what it is for the hot tubs. That's one question. And I bring this up because it seems like in the mornings for the water aerobics, they've been kind of keeping track. And at least at NC2, the hot tub was at 95. I don't know exactly what the pool was, but I'm sure it was in the lower 80s. So just wondering what the policy is there, or if you've been having trouble, or you shut it down at night some, is it just not getting turned up early enough for the morning people there? I've experienced in the afternoon, just everything seems to be just fine at that time.
Yeah, we've had some trouble with the spas in particularly. Normally we have those heated up to around 100 to right around 103. The pools are set at 88. Now, of course, that's going to fluctuate given it's moving water, but those are the temperatures they're set at. But we have had, I've been in talks with our maintenance guys over at NC1 and NC2 with the spas. So that is something we're currently looking into and working on. But yeah, normally it's set right around 100 for the spas and 88 for the pools.
Hello, I'm Dan Phillips, lot 675. With the reserve study, right now you guys posted under accounting. It's very hard to find that. If you would also, if you want to leave it there, fine, but also put it under financials, because that's where you would normally go to look and find something like that.
Okay, we will post it under financials and we'll also post it under resources.
Okay, and then if you could keep the old reserve study there, because it's nice to compare for those who want to compare.
We don't take it yet, we won't take it yet.
Okay, and then with regard to the investments that we have, I know they're in the financials, but they're very hard to see in terms of what amounts are in which banks and what interest rate we're getting and things of that nature. I would suggest having an investment document that lists all the various investments we have, the amounts that are there with banks, and I think it's important to show that they're insured in what fashion they're insured, FDIC insured or whatever. If it's all in one document, then the owners can see that and see what's going on there. You can also see that we're actually getting pretty good interest right now on all these various things. But when it's in the financial document itself, it's very difficult to, because it's short circuited, because it's not organized in one document. So that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We will set that up with finance.
I have a couple of questions. One is the lines on Roy Rogers. The white lines aren't there anymore, they're black. As the asphalt is, I had talked to somebody before, a couple of months ago, or a few months ago maybe, about when I was going to redo those, and there hasn't been anything done. I would have thought they'd have redone those before people came back.
Right, we're in the process of doing the stripes now. We're having a little issue with our equipment, with the machine itself, but yes, we are underway with all of that right now. They're continuously doing it. They started, I believe, in section 1, and then working their way through the recipient. So it's still an ongoing process.
Okay, and also I asked about if we could get the people that were on the committee on the garbage and recycling together again, so we could go over some of the things that haven't been done out there.
Yeah, like an ad hoc committee you're speaking of?
I'm talking about the trash committee that we got together last year.
Well, the committee that you were speaking of was initially an ad hoc committee just to get the ideas together. There was no official committee for the sanitation site ever made. So if you want to get, an ad hoc committee together again, that's absolutely something we can do.
Okay, thank you. And also, on the golf carts driving on the roads, it seems that there's a lot of golf carts that aren't doing that. And my wife tells me that she was passed on the right side and the left side while she was driving down the road. She wasn't going fast enough for these cars, so they pass on either side. And we know that these golf carts go at least 20 miles an hour.
We'll keep on top of that and enforce as we can. Appreciate it.
Debbie Cheapaw, 219. In regards to the striking in the lines in section 1, it's come to our attention that after it dries, there's slippery residue, and pedestrians and people on bicycles can slip if they try to stop and they're on that. So if somebody needs to sweep it up or something afterwards to lessen that risk.
Okay, we can absolutely do that. I know that they put cones around it as soon as they do it because it shouldn't be walked on for a certain amount of time, but that is something that we can address as well. Okay, I appreciate it.
Sue Cousins, lot 1061. Could you tell us what the status is for the town center pool? Is it fixed? I've been out of town. I mean, it's nice and warm, but I'm hearing different things.
Referring to the heat?
The heater.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's fixed. It was leaking for a little bit. We were waiting on Raypack to get us apart. It's been fixed, I think, a couple weeks now. But yes, it is fully operational. You guys gonna make it easy on us? Any more questions? No? Or you got...
We have a long-range planning committee. I was involved in the long-range planning committee, and I was involved in the long-range planning committee, and it seems like it's 2 years now that we did that. And the emphasis, 70% of the owners here wanted things done with the pool, the town center, both all the pools, the town center, to update things, colors, furniture, landscaping. We have a capital improvement, asset improvement fund, and it doesn't seem like anything's really being done in that regard as a whole concept. In other words, getting a designer to come in and plan, at least get into the planning stages. We're doing things in a piecemeal fashion. And it seems to me that we need to have an overall plan. We have money available to do that. It's not in the reserve fund, it's in a different fund. We have money to do that. We've got the input from all the homeowners with the long-range planning surveys and meetings and all kinds of things. We know the direction we should be going. I know this is part of the board issue too. I just want to, if there's some way we can get that going, because we do need updating, and we're in a position where we can do it, but we seem to not do it and just do little pieces at a time. The reason I bring this up is we're talking about the water feature in town center. And that should be something that's part of the overall plan with everything else in town center. There's some shade structures, some landscaping, things of that nature. And it just seems like we're not doing that. We're not getting design and planning situation moving forward. So those are my thoughts.
Okay, I will let you know that the landscape committee, we do have a landscape committee now we've had for a few months, and they have actually been meeting with a landscape architect to address some of those issues that you're speaking of. And they are presenting a proposal to the board for this next week's meeting to approve the architect to go forward with the plans.
Great. That's good to hear, because I didn't know that. Thank you.
And the water features are part of that plan too, so it's kind of a twofold thing. The BTM and landscaping are working hand in hand together.
Hi, I'm Becky Wells, and I have been promoted to be the scheduler of our sanitation or our dump or whatever, and it is working well. I am so proud of all of our volunteers. In fact, we have enough volunteers so that people are only working twice a month instead of 6 or 8 times a month. So it's going well, and I appreciate it very much.
That is great news, and thank you for all your help. Anybody else? Beat me to it.
I just want to make a comment. I would like everybody here in the park to look in Webster's Dictionary and see what STOP really means.
We're thinking about 10-foot stop signs. I don't know if that's going to help the case.
Any more questions? Okay, I just want to let you know that next month at our town hall meeting, I will have the department heads from patrol, landscape, maintenance, and housekeeping appear at the table. So if you have any questions or anything you want to ask them, they're going to be put on the spot. Okay, thank you. If there's no other questions, I want to say Happy New Year from all of us in the office, and we look forward to a prosperous new year. Thank you.